What's good, everybody? It's Bro Hamza, and today, guys, I'm coming to you with a brand new video. This time, it's going to be 2 Mikanko deck profiles or variants that I think are very important, especially if you're interested in the deck. But before we get into that, guys, I'd like to give a huge shout out to everybody who's been watching my videos. I really appreciate the love, guys. Make sure you guys like the videos. Try and get 10 likes. You've been absolutely crushing our like goals, so let's keep it up and let's keep the energy moving forward. Subscribe again, guys, if you're new or you just haven't already, because we will be doing giveaways and more awesome content. And yeah, without further ado, guys, let's get right into the video. Alright, guys, so the first deck profile we are going to be tackling is going to be the Mikanko Infernoble. Again, like I always say, guys, in my deck profiles, they are templates, they are skeletons, they are just super basic. They're just ideas for you guys to kind of understand and then put your own twist and change on, then you guys go ahead and succeed with the ideas that I birthed inside of your head. But again, starting off with the first normal summon of the deck, we are going to be talking about Diviner of the Herald. Now, if you guys saw from the combo video I posted about 2 days ago, Diviner of the Herald plus a discard ends you on, I believe it was Appaloosa plus Braver Dragon. If you have any other extenders, you can go for like Ohime, you can go for IP as well, and that's a pretty formidable board in and of itself. But again, Diviner is very good. Normal summon, send the Herald from your extract, become level 6, and be able to manipulate your levels and things of that nature. So Diviner is very good, but it's really difficult to understand like how many normal summons are in the deck. It's 7, 45. It was hard to get it to 40, honestly, without breaking too much. But again, we're playing triple Diviner of the Herald, and then another normal summon I decided to play is Sublimation Knight. And the reason why I chose Sublimation Knight plus the Squeak Knight is specifically because he's a fire warrior monster, so Renaud works very well with him in your hand. You don't always have to special summon Renaud from hand and use his effect. It's just like a contingency plan. Worst comes to worst. I just felt like having Sublimation Knight by himself felt pretty good. Being able to have that many one-card combos, meaning that you can pop off turn 1, or if you get disrupted, you have all sorts of extenders that work very well with Sublimation Knight that may just not work with Diviner of the Herald. I'll explain that as we continue on. But yeah, we play the triple Sublimation Knight, the one Squeaker, of course, Heart and Soul. I don't know what I would do without Squeak Knight. But yeah, the one Squeak Knight, and then moving on, we play the final Ogre, OGA, whatever you guys want to call it. So that's 7 normal summons in the deck in 45. I felt like that was a pretty healthy number. You can technically cut OGA away, but there is a very niche combo with like the older Infernoble cards where you go like OGA Renaud and you get like a Phoenix Gear on the board, and you can just do like some like very simple control-y style of a board where you just like play around like with your side deck cards. So that's what I decided to play with, like the one OGA. And then of course we're playing the triple Oliver or Olivier, and the reason why I played triple Oliver is just because sometimes you need a level 1 tuner on board who isn't Renaud if you already went through Renaud, so Oliver can act as that card, being able to just bounce Oliver back to your hand, using the Arabesque, and then discarding a card to resummon Oliver, and then you still have Oliver and Hair that can go into the Herald of the Arclight if you're forced to use Renaud early. So that's why I decided to play triple Oliver, and again, just more extenders in that regard as well. And then Sublimation Knight being a 3, there's a pretty unique interaction where like if you open an extender plus Sublimation Knight plus Renaud, you can get like a Herald on board, and then you can still use Diviner to send like another Herald, things of that nature. Pretty good. A lot of hand trap protection. But yeah, Renaud, if you guys don't know Renaud, on my channel, basically if you control a fire warrior monster, special summon from your hand. If you special summon, add a fire warrior or equip spell, and then if you special summon from the hand, he's treated as a tuner that way. But again, this is one of the main reasons why I decided to be like, you know what, I should play the fire warriors instead, is because Renaud is an extender, and that being an extender means that even if Sublimation Knight gets interrupted, it gets hand trapped, you still have Renaud to play through your board. You can do all sorts of shenanigans with that as well. So I felt like that was pretty solid in that regard as well. And then we played the one Roland. So Roland is just an additional copy. You could technically cut this. I just kind of like the niche interaction where off is sold, you add Roland instead if you have like additional cards to play with, because it prevents the Ishizu cards from interacting with the Roland in your graveyard, so you can automatically equip Roland from your hand to force a Charles Bob that way, whereas the Roland one in the graveyard is kind of predictable. If you use Roland from your hand, your opponent can't really play around that well, so I decided to play the one Roland. And he has like a pretty funny fact where it's like the Scar, right? If this card's in the graveyard because it's center this turn, add a Fire Warrior monster, so he can just add you a Squeak Knight, he can add you a Sublimation Knight, whatever. And then of course play the one Phoenix Gearfried, Immortal Phoenix. This card's OP. He's really good. It's just that like now you're not as consistently making him like before the 5th summon and things of that nature. So that's why you just play the one. You can add him as like an end phase search to guarantee like a big boss monster next turn. If you open specific combos, you can just continue off with him, having like Ogre, stuff like that. So Gearfried is pretty nice in that regard. And then we play the triple Fire Flint Lady and the triple Red Layer. So Fire Flint Lady works very well with any of these cards because if you control warrior, you can special summon her. And again, any 2 warriors gives you that little combo that I showed you initially. I think it was the first combo where you end with Appaloosa for 3 and Ohime. So Fire Flint Lady is really good, and Fire Flint Lady, like I said before, works with all these cards. It especially works with Sublimation Knight as well. So that was the reason why I decided to play more normal summons in the deck on top of Diviner, just because you have more kind of hands to play with, where if you open like a bunch of other cards plus Diviner, you can kind of choose to be like, you know what, I'll just go Sublimation it because I can get more extenders and play through hand traps that way, whereas running into like one Ash Blossom can kind of screw you over with the Diviner if you don't open specific hands. Again, it doesn't really matter, but to each own. Then we play the triple red layer. Now red layer is just the generic extender, so red layer works for like Diviner, red layer works for like other cards where you just want to spam monsters on the board and still be able to play. Red layer is pretty good as well because he's level 5, then he has the like recursion effect where like if you discard a card off of, like Ohime to get a red layer and you special summon red layer can just add back a red layer back. So there's like a nice little resource loop that you can do with that as well. So yeah, triple red layer. Again guys, like I said before, these ratios are not perfect. You guys can change whatever you guys want, and if you guys want to change something, please just let me know. I'm always open for criticism. But now onto the Mikanko cards. We only played 2 other monsters. We played the one Mikanko Ohime and we played the one Hair. So essentially Ohime says you can rich summon this card with Mikanko Kagura, cannot be destroyed in battle. Also your opponent takes any battle damage you would take from battles involving this card instead. I think all the Mikanko cards have that effect, or like can't be destroyed in battle, and then you can bounce a card. And then this card says you can only use each once per turn. Reveal this card in your hand, add 1 Mikanko card from your deck to your hand, then discard a card, and then quick effect, target 1 equip spell in your graveyard, equip it to an appropriate monster on the field. So this is really good because it says you can target 1 equip spell in your graveyard and equip it to an appropriate monster. It doesn't say target 1 Mikanko equip spell, meaning that you can get all sorts of other equip spells, like you can grab a Durandal during the end phase to like give you more follow-up for next turn and things of that nature. So a pretty good effect in that regard. And then Hair says if this card is not equipped with an equipped card, you take no battle damage and it cannot be destroyed in battle. Also your opponent takes. So all of them have that effect. And this card says if this card becomes equipped with an equipped card, you can add 1 Mikanko equip spell from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So you only play 1 Hair. She's kind of like a brick in the deck. And no, I decided to forego Nini just because when I was doing test hands with this, it didn't really come up where like I needed the Nini. Whereas the other deck you do definitely play the Nini. But yeah, we just played the 1 Hair in this deck, and that rounds out the monsters at 23. I feel like I didn't really need any more. You technically can play like another Hair if you want, but our best can summon from hand as well, so it doesn't really matter if you technically like draw the brick. And it is a fire warrior, so it works pretty well with like Fire Flint Lady, Renaud, things of that nature, of course. But yeah, moving on to the equip spells, we play the triple Durandal. Again, this card's like Rhoda, add 1 level 5 or lower fire warrior monster. Then if it's destroyed, you can target 1 reborn it. So Durandal is pretty good. I used to play it at just 1, so it was like, oh, just 1. But you actually kind of want to open this card, especially if you have all sorts of other extenders. It's okay if you like don't go through like the Braver Dragon and you just have it equipped, because this card says if this card is sent to the graveyard because you equip monster was sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 level 5 and lower and reborn it. So like you have like additional protection as well, so it's pretty good. And then we play the 1 Joyous or Joyous, Joyous Noel, whatever. This is a new addition to the deck when I was like, oh, you can choose whatever card you want. Joyous was one of them. This card essentially says when this card is equipped, target 1 fire warrior monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, then destroy this card. This card is sent to the graveyard, special 1 fire warrior monster from your hand. So this is pretty good because like during like the second line of play or like later on, if you end up getting this card off like a Braver Dragon or like whatever, you can basically just get a fire warrior monster from your graveyard back to your hand, being like any of these guys, being like Gearfried, being like Renaud, being like Red Layer, Fire Flint Lady. So you have all sorts of other recursions and follow plays. So again, drawing too many equip spells isn't bad in this case whatsoever, especially when you're only milling 1 with this hold anyways, and you're most likely getting that card you milled back anyways. Yeah. Then moving on, we play the 1 Arabesque of the Mikanko. You can choose to play 2, but again, this card's like, it's very weird because like it bounces the card to your hand, so that's the only like kind of issue with it. But yeah, this here says the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects during your main phase. Special summon 1 Mikanko monster and then bounce it, and then change the equipped card to the card that you special summon from the extra deck. So you want Arabesque, pretty self-explanatory. You want Inviting Rondo. This is kind of how you snatch steal your opponent's monsters. The 1 Great Mikanko Legend. This card's like one of the most OP cards in the deck because it says special 1 Mikanko monster from hand ignoring its summoning conditions. So even though Ohime says it can only be summoned with Mikanko Kagura, Mikanko Legend just foregoes that. Then we play the 1 Blazing Dance, which is essentially the monster reborn. Then we play the 1 Stonehenge, which is a monster reborn with a monster with 0 attacking graveyard, which is always going to be the Mikanko cards. And then we play the 1 Metal Silver Armor. You can probably cut this one, honestly, because you're playing a lot of quick spells. You can most likely cut Metal Silver Armor, but I'm just kind of showing you guys like the option that you guys have. Metal Silver Armor essentially means that as long as you control this monster, your opponent cannot target that monster with like spell trap cards or whatever. So it's pretty good in that regard. Again, it says that targets 1 monster, so if they have like Baxia and they target 2 monsters, I'm pretty sure they can still be targeted. But Metal Silver Armor protects you from being like targeted by 1. So like if you go like Metal Silver Armor on like a Braver Dragon or like on like a Charles or an Appaloosa, it gets pretty annoying. Then we play the triple heritage of the Chalice. Again, a very underrated card, very OP card in itself. Add one Noble Knight monster or Noble Arms card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Gives you recursion. If Noble Knight monster equipped with Noble Arms, equip spell is destroy a battle and send to graveyard, you can get this card back. Basically, if Charles is destroy a battle somehow, you get it back. Mostly people are just trying to like remove Charles other ways, but yeah. The one Rhoda because it's a warrior deck, and then we play triple Dark Ruler no more. This should be over here. Triple Dark Ruler no more, one Call of the Grave, and triple Talents. These are like more or less the go second cards because you can push through a lot of board just being like pure combo cards, and just relying on the extra deck, punch over monsters. Entis is really good going second. Sublimation has one card combo, so he baits hand traps. A lot of these guys are big monsters in that regard as well. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. Now moving on to the side deck, just quick recommendations. Again, you guys can choose to play Neo Space Connector and Aqua Dolphin just because it can deal with more hand traps. Nowadays though, we're not really in a hand trap heavy format. It's more like the tier cards. You don't really want to force the tier cards in the graveyard. That's the only issue with that. Then you play the one magical midbreaker field. The reason why I say this is because you can just pop your own cards. Like during the end phase, you can pop your midbreaker with your Charles, and then you can just target your opponent's monster during that phase as well. This specifically is like around hand traps like Imperm, Effect Veiler, whatever the other one is, Ghostlit, Moonlit, Chill, Netflix and Chill, whatever. But yeah, moving on to the extra guys, we play double Isolde, two Tales of the Noble Knights. You play two, you can probably cut one for extra space if you want, but you just play two just because why not. The one IP Masquerena, the one Donner Dagger Furhire. Again, these cards are all like generic. IP is very good. If you have additional extenders, you can definitely end with IP. Donner is like the Diamond Direwolf. You play the one Nightmare Unicorn and the access code just to climb. I was thinking about playing like a Dark or like Hita, but there's not a lot of fire monsters, I don't think, so there's like no real reason to do that anyways. But yeah, one access code, one Appaloosa. This is again to go for a game shot. We played the double Herald of the Orange Light, or the Arc Light, sorry. Arc Light's really good because again, you can send it off a Diviner, you can also just make it on your board, so it's pretty good. Played the one Infernoble Knight Captain Rolando. We played the one Boral Savage Dragon. This can again be another card as well. You can pick like another 9 with Savage Dragon. You choose like Trishula, you can choose like a level 7 as well, just something to help you push. Savage Dragon has come up in previous like iterations of the deck, so that's why I feel like I should play Savage Dragon instead. You play the one Charles, of course, the one Brave Dragon. This card's like crazy. Like I just want to build every deck with this card because like you can literally guarantee getting 3 equip spells, and if all those equip spells have an effect, it's pretty insane. Then you can ascend one of them to the graveyard to target and negate. Pretty good. Baron as like a generic negator, and then the one Elder Entity Entis. But yeah guys, so this was it for like the Mikanko Infernoble deck. Like I said before guys, it's by no means perfect in any regard. I just think that it's a very good skeleton, general idea for you guys to have. But now we're going to get on to the Mikanko Libromancer deck now. Alright guys, so now we are going to be moving on to the second deck. Like I said before, this video is going to contain 2 deck profiles because I'm not going to try and just spam you guys with deck profiles when I can fit everything into one. Just make them a lot more informative, a lot more gooey, amazing. But yeah, so starting off guys, we played triple Libromancer 5. You guys don't know what this guy does. He's a level 4, which is pretty important. But the other one is you can reveal one ritual monster in your hand, special summon this card from your hand. This card is special summon. You can add one Libromancer monster from your deck to your hand, except itself, of course. Now this is pretty important because he says if this card is special summoned, so like no matter how you special summon him, it'll still trigger. But yeah, so that's him, pretty good. Moving on to Geek Boy. Geek Boy is very similar to Libromancer Fire, except he adds one Libromancer spell card from your deck to your hand. So that's pretty good because these two guys work to get each other. Well, not really get each other, but Fire gets Geek Boy gets Field Spell. If you have Geek Boy, you get Fire. If you have Fire, you get Geek Boy. Stuff like that. Cool. Then we move on to Libromancer Agent. So you're playing 2 of this card. This card's like not bad. You can reveal one ritual monster in your hand, special summon this card from your hand. You can target one Libromancer card in your graveyard except Agent, add it to your hand. Then if you added a spell or trap card by its effect, place one card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. So Agent is pretty good in multiple ways. One of the main ways is that he's able to recur resources, but the other way is he's able to get you the trap card back, which is Libromancer Intervention. But this card is crazy, right? And being able to just constantly recur Intervention every single turn, especially because like you get a nice little loop with it, and you guarantee Agent is really good. Hard drawing Agent isn't bad at all as well because he's a level 6. So you can kind of formulate a lot of other plays as well. So that's why I decided to play 2, but you can most definitely just play 1, run at 40, call it a day. Of course, moving on to Libromancer Doombroker, this guy's really good as well. He's a very underrated card. Ritual summon this card with a Libromancer card. This guy's ritual summoning by using a monster on the field. It can attack directly. So now this is an effect that you guys really need to understand because in our combo, like I showed you before, we are ritual summoning. So this guy has the ability to just be 25 direct, which is very underrated. Some people will just throw monsters on the board, be like, you can't get through my bodies, but we'll just attack you directly. You can only use each of the following effect once per turn. During your main phase, set one Libromancer trap directly from the deck. When this card inflicts damage, inflicts battle damage, your opponent try one face-up monster, your opponent controls shuffle it into the deck. So this is why I was saying that being able to tag directly is really good because he has removal, and then this card works very well because he says during the main phase, set one Libromancer trap directly from your deck, right? So this doesn't trigger. It's just like kind of like a whenever you want to do it, or maybe I don't know, an ignition effect more or less. So being able to declare this is really good because when you have Agent says that when he's special summoned, you can add a spell trap card, and then if it's a spell trap card, place one card from your hand onto the bottom of the deck. So what you can do is you can use Agent to set or to get intervention to your hand, and then put intervention at the bottom of your deck, and then you can use Doombroker to re-get the intervention, meaning that you essentially get intervention every single turn. So you constantly have an Omni negate every single turn. I'll explain intervention later on just because I want to just like go monsters down. But yeah, that's the one. Doombroker, very good. And of course, the recursion of this deck is very, very potent as well. Of course, play the one here, the Sword Mikanko. I don't need to explain this card just because you guys already know. We do play the one Nini in this one. And the reason for that is I didn't want to just draw dead with the hair. I wanted to have the Nini just being able to have like the level 3 non-tuner monster is very good. Especially like because you get, if you draw this card and you like open with normal summon, you can still special summon this card from your deck, so you don't kind of like run out of bodies in a sense. This guy says if this card is not equipped with an equip card, take no battle damage, whatever, can't be destroyed by battle, opponent take any battle. So all of them reflected. She says while this card is equipped with an equip card, target one face up monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. So another snatch steal, pretty good. And then we're playing triple Mikanko of the Ohime. The last list we only played one. This card I absolutely think you should play 3 of, and the reason for it is not only a sheer ritual card that you want to open that works with like literally all your Libromancers, but you can also get any single card or any Mikanko card. So again, being able to facilitate your place is like absolutely crazy. And you want to open a ritual monster, right? You want to open a ritual monster no matter what. So I don't really know why you would play this card at like 1 or 2 when like you literally want to open Mikanko of the Ohime. So she's really good, especially if you open her, you can actually just go for like Ben 10 instead, and your play gets absolutely disgusting. So there's that. Then moving on to the normal summons of the deck, one of the best normal summons, of course, Diviner the Herald. Like I showed you before, Diviner plus Fire is a disgusting combo. And this is what I mean, if you open Ohime, Diviner can send Herald and grab you Ben 10. So now you have all sorts of other plays in that regard as well. So again, Diviner, very, very OP card, super insane, super insanity, insanity on ice, things of that nature. But yeah, Diviner is very good. Now I ended up revising my deck list. I had Cupid Serve in it, but I realized the Herald of the Orange Light is just better because if you draw it, you still have fairies to use. You have triple Diviner, you have triple Ohime, and you have Ben 10 as well. So you can still use Herald of the Orange Light to negate. Not only that, Herald is a tuner, so you can kind of like, instead of going to like the Sprite Elf play, you can just choose to go like Roland Charles from there if you wanted to. Elf is of course better, but again, to each your own. But yeah, Herald is really good. Shout out to my little brother Talha. He's the one who put me on this card because he's like, why are you playing Cupid Serve instead of Herald? I checked Herald. I'm like, okay, I don't know why I'm not doing it. And then we played the one Renaud. In this combo, you don't really need the Renaud, but being able to just kind of have the ability to go into the Renaud play is very good. So I feel like you just want as much versatility in your deck as possible, especially when it's so consistent with like all the Libromancer cards, things of that nature. So again, very good. And then like I said before, we played the one Ben 10 just because there's like a specific combo where like you can just go through so much more, being able to be a level 6 and a monster that summons a fairy monster. Not summons a fairy monster, sorry, adds a light fairy monster is really good as well. Then of course, moving on to spell cards, triple emergency teleport. I don't know why I said like that. Do a triple E-Tele because it gets you Geek Boy. When Geek Boy special summon, he can add Libromancer spell. Spell can get you Fire. Fire can go ahead and continue and get you whatever, right? So it's a nice little resource loop, like I said before. So that's pretty good. We play the triple prep of rights, and the reason why you play this is again, you play the Ben 10, you play all sorts of other cards as well, so you get a lot of recursion in that regard. And then we play the triple Libromancer first appearance. You can play 2. I just felt like just playing 3 because why not? Like you want to be as consistent as possible. Like I've said in my deck files before, guys, these are templates, these are ideas that you guys can kind of take and run with. But yeah, we played the triple Libromancer first appearance. This card is insane. Also, another thing that I realized is that this effect here during your main phase, you can ritual summon one Libromancer, ritual monster from your hand, by tributing monster from your hand or field. This is not once per turn. You can just only activate Libromancer first appearance once per turn. So that's pretty crazy. So you definitely want to open this card for sure. But yeah, triple whatever this guy is, and then the one terraforming, and then the one ritual sanctuary. Now again, I just like to play versatility in my deck. If I'm playing terraforming, I want to play another field spell as well. So you play ritual sanctuary. You can discard one spell card, add one light ritual monster, or one ritual spell from your deck to your hand. So there's a lot of light ritual monsters again. There's Ohime, there's Ben 10, so there's nice little ways of getting this card just by discarding one spell card, which is pretty good. And then it also says you can shuffle any number of spells from your graveyard into the deck, then target one light fairy monster in the graveyard whose level is equal to the number of cards, and special summon it. So if you just play through it normally, you can special summon like a diviner, which is really good. You can get like Ohime, you can get like Ben 10, pretty good. I felt like it was like a nice little niche application, pretty good. Just as a generic idea, but you can definitely just like cut Terraforming, cut Ritual Sanctuary, play like more like an upstart or something, and just continue. And then we play D1 Arabesque, D1 Blazing Dance, D1 Inviting Rondo, D1 Purifying Dance, and D1 Legend, and then D1 Mikanko Deck. So these two are new cards, and basically the reason why I decided to play Kagura is because if you play Prep, you should definitely be playing Kagura, just because now you have a ritual spell to absolutely recycle with it. It doesn't really matter because Prep just says then you can add a ritual spell from your graveyard anyways, but just being able to play the Kagura just gives you more searches. Kagura specifically says this card can be used to ritual summon any monster, you only have one, tribute monster from your hand, blah blah whatever. Then you can apply the following effect. Now this is the reason why this card is absolutely broken. Destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of equipped spells with different names, and if you do inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. I don't know why I said inflict like that, but that was really weird. But yeah, inflict 1000 is pretty crazy, especially because like you can just get this card, ritual summon, and then you'll probably have like 2 equipped spells in the graveyard or something like that. So you can pop 2 cards, burn. Then I'm playing Purifying Dance. This card specifically says this can be destroyed by battle or card effects. If a monster special to your opponent's field, you can try one monster you control, one monster your opponent controls, and return them to the hand. So again, this is just another way of just having disruption. If you go through Inviting Rondo, or like you already used Rondo during your turn and you want to have like something during your next turn. So Purifying Dance is like, it works with Inviting Rondo in a sense of having disruption. But yeah, then play the one Call by the Grave, and then the double triple tactics talent, or yeah, triple tactics talent. Again, these are just like ghost second cards. If you guys want to up the count, have more ghost second cards, by all means you can do it. I think playing like more than 50 is fine as well. So yeah, and then we played the one Libromancer Intervention. This is what I was saying is pretty good. When your opponent activates your card effect, target one Libromancer ritual monster, return to the hand. And if you do negate the activate effect, then you can special summon one Libromancer monster from your hand or graveyard. So this is essentially how the loop works. So during your turn, Doombroker will set Intervention, right? Then you'll activate Intervention, you'll bounce Doombroker to your hand, and you'll special summon out Fire, right? Fire will go ahead and get a monster, so Fire will add you Agent. Cool. Now, during your turn, let's just say we continue playing, whatever, you can go Agent, reveal the Doombroker that you got, special summon Agent, add Intervention, put back at the bottom of your deck, activate Libromancer first appearance, tribute the Agent, summon Doombroker effect, reset Intervention. So now you have the entire loop all over again. So you can get Intervention for like 3 solid turns without negging too hard, and then past that you can just like pretty much win the game because you've negated a lot of their effects. So it's a very, very underrated loop you can get, and that's another reason why I felt like these cards are very good Libromancer cards, and then being able to push through a lot of like random nonsense like Diviner with like Mikanko Ohime, the Mikanko cards as well, all sorts of extenders is pretty good. But yeah, moving on to the extra guys, we play D1 Donner, D1 IP, D1 Sprite Elf, the one Isolde, Cross Street, because there's like a very specific niche combo. When you like ritual, you can draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards, cycle through for more side deck cards. Play the one Nightmare Unicorn just because it's a generic card plus IP is really good. We play the one Appaloosa, we play the one Entis, going second is really good. Play the one Herald because like you're not really making Herald of the Arclight with this board. There weren't really a lot of niche applications. Like there's a couple where like you can like go like this and this into Herald, or like this plus something into Herald, but for the most part you're just sending it to combo. The one Roland, the one Charles, the one Baron. Baron's a lot easier to make in this version of the deck because like on your initial board you'll have Diviner and Fire, so if you want to go for like a more conservative route, you can just go Baron with these 2 here. Then you can just like set up your play. We play the one Gigantic Sprite, and the reason for this is like turn 2 you can just like slap this onto Elf and like another monster, and then just go like Sprite, whatever, go into Zeus, punch you there. The one Beatrice, like I said before, you're playing a lot of 6s, so being able to play Beatrice is very good. And then Beatrice is also a big monster to go into Zeus, and then Zeus is just how you go second, how you clear boards. But yeah guys, those are my 2 deck profiles, guys. If you really enjoyed them, I really appreciate if you guys leave a like on the video. So guys, that was the video. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and like the video. If we're not at 10 likes, let's try and go ahead and get 10 likes. That'd be absolutely exceptional. Again guys, subscribe for brand new content. Got some awesome videos on the way as well. And without further ado, like I always say, my name's Hamza. Keep on shining, never go on your dreams. Peace.